Hey everybody, welcome to another DeLorean Tech Bring a Trailer live stream. And today we've got another 1981 DeLorean. So I also happen to have Chris Miles on the line right now, who has apparently done some work with this car, or on the car, and he had some interesting things to say about it. How's it going, Chris?
Hey, Todd. Yeah, a couple of years ago, I saw the car in person and did a few little quick repairs on it. One of the fuel lines had a split in the engine bay, and he had a fuel leak. So I was kind of in the area for one of our Northern California Tech Days, and I stopped by his place and did a couple fuel line repairs. The car looked good overall. It cosmetically, car was from Texas, and the owner. I don't remember if the owner had replaced the plates with California plates. I think I remember them having Texas plates still on the car. It had an aftermarket exhaust, and I don't believe there were any catalytic converters, so it might be a little dicey for California emissions.
You're right. It looks like you got headers, and then you got a muffler. There's no cats in there. At least not from what I can tell.
Yeah, I believe there's a muffler on each side.
Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Just let me see this. There was this one other photo here. Yeah, those are the headers coming out. Never mind. Okay,
Yeah, I
you're
believe
right. You're right.
but this was an exhaust from John Hervey, I believe, when he used to offer this exhaust.
So John Hervey exhaust. Okay. Okay. So I wonder how he's passing emissions on this thing, unless it wasn't registered. I don't know.
I think the car still had Texas plates on it. So, and
Right, right. No, you're right. Yeah.
the owner of mine had a home in Texas at the same time as well. I don't remember that part.
So let's see here. So this is an 81. So what do you think about the car, man? Give us your unbiased opinion. Overall.
I think it's in pretty good shape. I mean, when I saw it, it was in good shape. This guy had some other like high dollar cars in his garage. I think if you're from California, just be careful.
Yeah.
Just because of the exhaust thing. But other than that, I mean, these cars are trading for a lot of money. It looks like the wheels have been refinished.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's got sort of a black inlay going on there.
Mm-hmm. Those look nice.
So the wheels look pretty cool. Yeah, I was I was kind of reviewing the auction myself, and it looks pretty good from what I can tell.
It's got a 170 mile an hour speedometer. If you hadn't catch that, so that's been updated at some point. The binnacle
Right.
looks good. Dashboard. Things that you want to look out for when you're looking at a car, seeing how good the interior is.
Yeah, yeah,
For
for
those
sure.
pieces can get expensive, or you're gonna have to replace it with maybe like one of the plastic dashes. Some people might not prefer that.
Right. Oh, there it is, the 170 Speedo. Yeah, checking it out right now. So yeah, that's definitely a little bonus there. But as far as the car driving and handling, I don't know if you had a chance to even drive it or anything like that, or at least how does it run? And he posted some videos in here. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, it seemed to run fine. After we did the fuel lines, we got it started back up again. And
Okay, so runs good. How long ago did you work on it? You said?
Probably like, well, probably three years ago now.
3 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
So why do you think he's selling it? Is it just because he's got a lot of other cars?
Yeah, he's got some Porsches and some other stuff. He said
Okay.
he bought it as a kind of like a father-son deal.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
his son really liked the car, but I don't think he drove it very much either. But he's probably looking at the market right now and
Now's the
probably
time,
going to
right?
make a move. Yeah. One of our other Northern California owners knows about this car as well. So um, the guy wasn't really active in the group, but he did reach out to me anyway to help him. So
Cool. He's got a couple of driving videos in here. He's got a walk around video. We'll take a look at that. Um, but yeah, no, I think I agree with you. The car looks pretty solid. I mean, you've actually have firsthand experience with this car, so if you're saying if you're giving the thumbs up on it, that's probably good enough, right?
mm-hmm.
It looks pretty original too. Not a whole lot of changes, at least interior wise and everything else. Just that exhaust is the only thing, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is a small issue. If somebody in California, for example, or another state where they require, emissions checks on these cars and they're not exempt, that, you can replace the exhaust pretty easily with something
Yeah.
compliant. It's not that hard to
Mm-hmm.
do. It's really a minor issue in the grand scheme of things. you know
Right.
usually the exhaust is the least of everybody's worries. I mean, normally when it comes to exhaust, people are worried about what they're going to upgrade to, right?
That's true.
Yeah, I see your stainless steel braided fuel line work there, so that looks pretty cool. So it's obviously been done correctly. You can tell. There's no stray hoses all over the place in there at weird angles and stuff like you see
Right.
sometimes, right? Everything's just kind of looks
Mm-hmm.
normal, doesn't look out of place. So that's kind of cool. It's got a little gauge in there. Not sure what the gauge is for.
That's one of John Hervey's permanently connected fuel pressure gauges that he was selling.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Hmm.
So you can verify your fuel pressure after you turn the car off to see if you're having any problems.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, he has an invoice for Specialty Auto or John Hervey's website on the documents list.
I noticed he did post quite a few documents, which is I always say is really good to see. It just kind of shows you what's been done on the car, and by whom, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's got all the uh, warranty and all that information. It looks like he's got the Windows sticker. He's got some workshop manual stuff, parts manual, service manual. He's got the kit. Let's see what else. He's got all the original owner's manual stuff. Everything that everybody would want. A lot of
Right.
invoices for a lot of stuff here. Um, fuel accumulator was replaced. It's got some other stuff going on here. So the dates are 2018. Looks like the fuel accumulator was replaced around that time. It's got some DeLorean Industries. Looks like he got the stainless fuel injection line set from DeLorean Industries. So
Oh,
that's
yeah,
pretty
I
good
remember
stuff.
that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
looks like that was back in 2019. Probably around the time maybe when you did the work on it.
Right. Yeah, he had a majority of the lines installed. I replaced like 3 of them that weren't done yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so that kind of matches up with the timeline.
Yep. Yeah, it looks like a lot of invoices for a lot of work that's been done. DMC Houston did some work on it as well. Looks like. Then you had a few other places.
Yeah, yeah. Since it was in Texas, that makes
Oh, he bought a clutch kit, rear main seal. So apparently that work probably was done. It looks like.
sense. Mm-hmm.
Yep. All this work looks fairly recent. He's got 2014 invoices in here. Looks like that's when he bought the fuel accumulator. But I did show that one invoice showing it replaced in 2018, I think I saw. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe he held on to it. That's kind of what I did. I think I bought my fuel accumulator, and we ultimately started putting it on like a year, more than a year later or something like that. I can't remember.
Right.
I mean, it's always better to be ready to go and have the parts in hand just in case, you know, they run out and they're harder to find. You
Right.
never know, right?
Exactly.
Stop
Yeah, you're
making
always
them.
going to want to keep some stuff on hand.
Yeah, I mean, if you know you're gonna replace it in the future, just buy it now, as long as it's something that has a good shelf life, right?
Right.
Um, you know, and looks like he has a lot of photos here. Looks like he's probably photos with the NorCal DeLorean Club on here. I'm assuming, but
Mm-hmm.
not sure. So that's pretty cool. All right, well, I'm glad that you were able to chime in on this one because,
Yeah.
you know, it's always good to know that the car is familiar to someone, you know, in the community. So,
Right.
you know
Right.
what I mean? And
Exactly.
not just some random car that nobody's ever heard of before. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you got to get back to work, so I'll let you
Yeah.
go. And
All
I
right.
appreciate you calling in. And we'll
Sure.
talk to you soon, Chris. See you at
All right.
Stainless
Sounds
Summer.
good.
How about that? We'll see you at
Yeah.
Stainless
Yeah.
Summer.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. All right,
All right.
Chris. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. So that was Chris Miles, good friend of DeLorean Tech. He apparently has seen this car before. He's actually worked on it. He's met the owner. He's given it his thumbs up here. So right now we're at 39.88, which is and only 8 minutes to go. So that's actually a pretty good price. I might want to bid in here pretty soon to get it at that price. You got 8 minutes to go. It's a originally a Texas car, but it is here in California. So he's got the Texas plates on there, and as Chris kind of indicated, the car has a custom exhaust setup on it, and it does not have the catalytic converters. Our discussion on that was that it is kind of a non-issue. I mean, you know, in terms of in the grand scheme of things, it's not really a big deal. You can get that fixed. That's not a problem. You can get a new exhaust system put on there. You can buy you know, the DPI or the stage, you know, the stage 1 exhaust from DMC. Those have the carb compliant catalytic converters, although I don't know if they're in stock currently. But there are other options. You could even go back to a stock exhaust if you can find one out there. That is not a deal breaker by any means. So, that said, what about the rest of the car? I mean, the rest of the car, you know, upon looking at the photos, it actually looks all right. I mean, there's no corrosion in there, very little. There's a little bit here and there. But compared to about, what, 2 cars ago on Bring a Trailer, this one is in way better condition, I would say. So, it's got a couple of driving videos here showing that the car actually drives, so that's pretty cool. I don't know when these videos were uploaded or when they were taken. So we could always go to YouTube and find out, but I'm assuming they're recent. Yeah, May 1st of this year. So it sounds good. I'm listening to the exhaust right now. It sounds all right. It actually, the exhaust actually sounds pretty good. So again, this is a John Hervey exhaust on this car. So as you know, the late John Hervey, Specialty Auto, sold a lot of parts for many years for the DeLorean and other cars as well. I think I have a few of his items in my car. In fact, I think I might have one of his radiators in my car. So he did exhausts, he did a bunch of other stuff. He came up with the Hervey style grounding of the battery, which we did in a video. We kind of took it a little further there as well on that, but he came up with a bunch of ideas. He's got the he didn't come up with the stainless steel airbox, but he ended up selling them. So he actually, I think he purchased the inventory from someone else. So he purchased the inventory for the stainless steel airboxes, and he sold those for quite a while. And I think his daughter took over the shop, and she ended up selling a few of those as well for a time. I don't know if they're still available. So we are at 39,088, and you got 5 minutes left. Be interesting to see where this one lands. This, I think, compared to Jim Varney's DeLorean, you know, obviously that's a turbo, that Island Twin Turbo. That kind of you can't really make the comparison between the two. That one went for like, I think it went for 66, which I thought was pretty low myself. So this one here, I'm expecting it to go for somewhere in maybe the 50s, maybe even pushing 60. It's hard to say. It's pretty original. Like Chris was saying, it's a solid car. He actually did some of the work on it himself. So the fuel lines, being the fuel lines, stainless steel braided from DeLorean Industries there. So we got a few people here in the chat. We got somebody from Berlin. Hey, Robert. Copper Tank, good seeing you again. You got Huff 88. So this is very, very cool here. So let's see what else we got here. So the seller has also been pretty active in the chat down here in the Bring a Trailer chat. He posted a bunch of photos of a bunch of invoices just recently here. Okay, here's some photos here. Oh, and here we go. So I want to say that these are probably the same photos that were uploaded to the listing as well. So he's obviously a lot of work's been done. Look, there you go, DeLoreanAutoparts.com. I want to say that's John Hervey's DeLorean Motor Company in Houston. Yeah, so we saw some of these invoices as well. So that's pretty cool. So this is always exciting to see where these cars are going to end up. Yes, I agree, Copper Tank. It's a very low bid for what it is right now. $39.5. That's a steal almost right now, at least in today's world. $39.5 for me would have been on the high side back in like 2018. So right now that's more like on the low side of things, right? I mean, anything below 40 is a pretty good deal for a car like this, right? And not a project car. We've seen a few project cars kind of pop up here in these auctions and stuff. But this one's definitely not one of those. You can tell just by the listing alone and all the documentation it's provided, all the photos. So just a comment on this one here. That's the spacer for the rear of the vehicle. That's going to have corrosion on it. Mine does. That's pretty normal. So when you see that, that's not an issue. Superficial corrosion too. So it's not a big deal. So when you see stuff like that, that's pretty common. You can replace these. They're pretty easy. It's just a spacer plate for the rear wheels. But overall, I mean, look at this. There's hardly any corrosion going on here. So it looks pretty good. I mean, the suspension looks good. It basically looks like my car when I bought it. So yeah, you can see that. It looks good. I mean, the brake caliper is nice and clean. Very nice DeLorean. 2 minutes left, and we're up to $43,000, so now it's getting real. I want to say another nice a Stage 2 car sold a couple months ago, that Hot Wheels DeLorean for, I want to say like 46 or 47. That was a good deal. So you can get good deals on Bring a Trailer for sure. You just got to know what you're getting yourself into. It's always good to pay attention, right, to these photos, to what others are saying about the car. There's always another opportunity for DeLorean. They made, 9,000 of these cars, 9,080 according to some. There's a census and there's a prediction on how many are left. I want to say that's based on mathematics as opposed to an actual census. I think they estimated about 6,000 left in existence, but that's based on math. Okay, so nobody really knows how many cars are still out there, and by still out there, I mean like whole and not like, destroyed, right? Or parted out, right? For example, just whole vehicles that are just out there in owners' hands, in barns, across the world. We know that the car has made its way all over the entire world, right? So you've got DeLorean clubs in New Zealand. You've got I believe, a strong presence in Japan. You've got a very strong presence in Europe. Definitely the U.S., of course, it goes without saying. Latin America as well. Here we go, down to 1 minute. We're at 47,000. Now we're at 48 with another couple minutes to go. Bids are coming in. This is typical of what you see here on Bring a Trailer. And, it's always good to help the bidders along a little bit. I don't know if they've tuned in, but I did link the live stream down here in the chat. So hopefully whoever's bidding on this car is at least watching the live stream. And if you're watching the live stream, go to the chat and let us know. I'm curious. So we did indicate that we are live streaming this. We did have Chris Miles on the call a little earlier, and he has worked on this car, and he kind of gave it his thumbs up. So doesn't appear to have any major issues. And he did post a couple of these driving videos here, and he's got the walk around that we looked at. So let's kind of read through some of this stuff here. The car has 19,000 miles, so it's a low miles car, but apparently a lot of work has been done on it. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So let's see here. It is a manual transmission. Like I mentioned before, it's largely stock. I mean, it's got the original Craig radio in there and stuff like that. So it's fairly stock with the exception of this MagnaFlow exhaust system. And I guess that's the John Hervey exhaust that uses MagnaFlow mufflers on it, and I guess headers. Not sure about that. What else? Anything out of the ordinary? Clean California title in the seller's name, although it does appear to be registered in Texas. It's got the Texas license plate going on there. That could be how he is passing, emissions for it. I don't know. But that would be really the only thing that you would have to tackle if you're a California buyer. Now, if you're at some other state and that doesn't, that the DeLorean is exempt as far as emissions go, then you really don't have an issue here. And the exhaust sounds pretty good. So, that said, anything else? There's a dent in the left rear quarter panel. Just like my car, a lot of cars, left rear quarter panel. That's very common. Let's see if we can see a photo of that one. I think we actually did see that. I don't see it here. Let's just see if we got a photo of it somewhere. Well, I don't see it. Sold 48,000. All right, so not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. So 48,000 for this car. And let's see what we got going on in the chat over here. Is a pretty good deal for what it was. I want to say that very kind of rusty car that was maybe two cars ago went for like 52 or something like that. So definitely, let's see who bought this, who won this. I know, I agree, Copper Tank, 48. It's kind of crazy, but we have been seeing sort of a downward trend, I think, on prices. I mean, if you look at the Island Twin Turbo that went for 66, and you compare that to the single BAE Turbo that went for 88, that's a big difference there, over 20 grand for what would be a better performing vehicle, hypothetically, right? So let's see who won this car. Jackie Treehorn. So congratulations to Jackie on winning this pretty clean, pretty all-around good 81 DeLorean. I mean, you could probably just take this out and start driving it. So I don't know where he's from. I guess we could take a look at what he's been bidding on and what he's won here. He won this, so he's definitely a car guy. He's got a Prowler. It's got a nice Ford Bronco first edition here. So he's got some cars. He's bid on a few. He's bid on an Acura NSX, a few other cars here. So awesome. So once again, congratulations. There will be another one on here tomorrow, like always. Yeah, that's kind of been consistent for the past 3 times. It seems like they wait until the preceding auction ends, then they'll go ahead and list it. So that way you don't have 2 going on at the same time, which would, you know, conceivably bring in a lower overall bids, you know, lower overall sales price for the vehicle if you've got competing cars. So one at a time seems to be kind of the thing here. So a lot of bidding going on in the final moments here. So it went from about 39 all the way up to 48. All right, well, I think we're good on the live stream. I'll check the chat one more time here. Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks for chiming in here on the chat. I don't see the winner in here, so maybe he did not. He might have viewed it, but maybe he just didn't participate in the chat. No big deal. Overall, I mean, you can't really complain. $48,000 for this car is pretty good in terms of, you know, 2022 values, right? I mean, on the high end, you have refurbished cars from DeLorean Houston listed for, I want to say, $100,000. So if we just go to their website really quick, and there's the new Alpha 5. So if we go here and you go to sales, and you can see what some of these cars are going for. So I was on here a little bit ago here. Let's see here. View all currently available here. So there you go. So here are some VINs right here. About 4 of them with prices. And they're going for, you know, 101, 99, 102, 98. And let's look an equivalent to this car. Maybe this one here, this 81. Oh, but there's no photos. Unless I can't tell if there's photos or not here. Maybe they just have not taken any photos. You'll probably need to inquire. So this is a pretty low mileage one here. So, that said, thanks again for everyone tuning in. I don't know when the next one will be. It'll probably be in another week or so, right? Based on the rate these things have been going up. Kind of softening a little bit. It's just a sign of the times, right? I mean, gas prices are at an all-time high right now. The stock market is tanking. Crypto is tanking. There's just a lot of stuff putting pressure on people's ability to just throw money at these cars now. And $48,000 for a pretty clean vehicle. I would say this is fairly comparable to the car I bought back in 2018, which was a very nice car, and I was pretty happy to get it for what I got it for. Anyway, guys, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next live stream.